Paul Heyman chooses CM Punk over Roman Reigns. Dominik Mysterio turns babyface. Becky Lynch exposed. Real reason behind Hulk Hogan being booed on WWE Raw. A huge backstage update on Corey Graves following his absence and frustration. Penta's injury update from Raw. Charlotte Flair spotted backstage at a WWE show. Brock Lesnar returns at Royal Rumble. Solo Sikoa returns with new allies. Let's dive right in. Dominik Mysterio turns babyface. Dominik Mysterio is one of the most despised WWE superstars on the roster due to his betrayal of Rhea Ripley. The former North American champion used to be in a storyline relationship with Ripley, but betrayed her at SummerSlam 2024 to help Liv Morgan retain the Women's World Championship. Ripley defeated Morgan last Monday night on WWE Raw to capture the title, and after the match, Dirty Dom attempted to reconnect with his former love interest. The Raw star went to hug Ripley but wound up on the receiving end of a low blow instead. Number 1. Dominik Mysterio could reunite with his father on WWE Raw. Rey Mysterio has defeated his son at the past 2 WrestleMania events. The Hall of Famer got the better of Dominik Mysterio at WrestleMania 39 in a singles match and teamed up with Andrade El Idolo at WrestleMania 40 to defeat his son and Santos Escobar. There has been some tension within the Judgment Day lately, and it could lead to the 27-year-old leaving the group. If he apologized to his father and became the newest member of the Latino World Order on the Red brand, he would likely then be considered a babyface by wrestling fans. Number 2. Mysterio could start anew on Smackdown. Dominik Mysterio was spotted having a backstage conversation with Smackdown general manager Nick Aldis last month. The company recently introduced the transfer window, allowing stars to switch brands ahead of the WWE draft. Mysterio may have been talking to Aldis about potentially making the move to the blue brand. While the Judgment Day star has become a fixture on Raw, it has not led to him capturing gold. Mysterio may be ready to prove he has what it takes to become a champion, and fans could grow to respect him on SmackDown if he earns his opportunities the right way. Number 3. He could leave the Judgment Day on Raw. Finn Balor has been very condescending to Dominik Mysterio in recent weeks on WWE Raw, and it may lead to him departing the Judgment Day. Mysterio could decide to confront Balor about his attitude, and he may also challenge Finn to a match. Balor could rely on his Judgment Day stablemates during the match and pick up a cheap victory over Mysterio. However, fans may grow to respect Dominik Mysterio for calling out Balor and giving it everything he had in the match. Number 4. Mysterio could dump Liv Morgan. Dominik Mysterio presented Liv Morgan with flowers backstage during this past Monday's episode of WWE Raw. The 30-year-old made it seem like she wasn't angry with him for trying to hug Rhea Ripley last week, but she was visibly frustrated. Morgan accepted the flowers but tossed them to Carlito and told him to put them somewhere nice. She also told Mysterio to go get her bags and do other errands for her during WWE Raw. Dominik Mysterio would instantly become a babyface if he admitted that he made the biggest mistake of his life by leaving Rhea Ripley for Liv Morgan in the weeks ahead. He could break up with Morgan and apologize to Ripley without trying to get back with her, and WWE fans would likely forgive him. Becky Lynch exposed. Becky Lynch significantly changed WWE. Her popularity proved undeniable, which led to her headlining WrestleMania 35. This was the first women's main event of the biggest sports entertainment spectacle, and it paved the way for other bouts in the years that followed to prove their worth and earn their place in the show's closing slot. In recent years, the Irish-born wrestler's popularity has declined. She left WWE in June 2024 after her contract expired, but she is expected to return now that Raw is on Netflix. But has her absence proved that the company does not need her? Disco Inferno would beg to differ. Speaking on the K100 podcast, Inferno and Conan noted that Becky Lynch is an asset to the company. They argued by pointing to her great promos and matches and claimed that the Stamford-based promotion misses the value she brings to their roster. I think they miss her, Becky Lynch. When she's on the show, it's much better for the women because she cuts good promos, Disco Inferno said. And good matches, added Conan. I would disagree with that, Inferno concluded. There have been rumors that Becky Lynch will return to reignite her rivalry with Rhea Ripley. Their feud came to a screeching halt last year after Mommy defeated the man at WrestleMania and subsequently injured her. While Rhea Ripley is the bigger match, Becky Lynch's past with new Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria has set the stage for a feud upon her return. Vince Russo feels this is the company's direction eventually. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Russo articulated a student-teacher rivalry between Lynch and Lyra. They worked together in NXT a little over a year ago when Valkyria defeated the man to capture the NXT Women's Championship. The former WWE writer feels that the young stalwart will have to turn heel for the feud to work. People love Becky, bro. It would be an uphill battle to turn her. It is. I would have Valkyria assume Becky's role and she replaces Becky, and she's the pride of her country. I would go down that road. Real reason behind Hulk Hogan being booed on WWE Raw. Hulk Hogan had an unexpected appearance on WWE Raw's first Netflix episode, which led to an even more unexpected reaction from fans. According to wrestling veteran and legendary journalist Bill Apter, the reason behind it is a little more nuanced than it seems. Hogan has been quite active in American politics lately, even using his wrestling persona during his public appearances. According to several critics and social media comments, this could have been a reason for him being booed on the premiere Netflix episode of Raw. Bill Apter also has a similar opinion, as he thinks that fans are finding it difficult to separate his personal political opinions from his wrestling persona. Speaking on this week's episode of Sportskeeda's Unscripted, Bill Apter had the following to say about the WWE legend. Being booed kind of it upset me, because they were booing someone who the whole wrestling business wouldn't be what it is today without him. And then I thought, it's insulting. The next morning when my friends and I were talking about it, my feeling was they were booing Hogan. But I think what they were meaning to do, was boo Terry Bollea, the guy who portrays Hulk Hogan, because they are two different people. Other than Hulk Hogan, Raw's debut on Netflix also saw appearances from legends such as The Rock, John Cena, The Rock, and The Undertaker. Several other legends were backstage as well. A huge backstage update on Corey Graves following his absence and frustration. The WWE status of Corey Graves remains up in the air as the concerning situation continues to unfold. The retired grappler reportedly had issues with the latest commentary shakeup, and now it appears things are getting worse for the most part. Sources have detailed what went down ahead of tonight's show, if this is a work or shoot, and Graves' future, among other scoops. The savior of misbehavior recently moved back to the NXT commentary team after Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were sent to Raw on Netflix, and the Smackdown desk was filled by Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore. Graves surprisingly returned last week for NXT New Year's Eve and was calling the Tuesday night action with Booker T and Vic Joseph. Before the shakeup, Graves and Tessitore worked Raw, Cole and Barrett called SmackDown, and NXT was handled by Booker and Vic. Graves made headlines this week with a viral statement on his career and the shakeup. He then posted a follow-up hours before NXT, announcing that he had a lot to say and suggesting fans tune into tonight's show. But he wasn't there. The former WWE 24/7 champion was a topic of discussion last week after appearing to be unhappy on the broadcast. Sources reported earlier today that Graves was not expected to work this week's NXT episode, as he had been spotted going through TSA at the airport in Orlando hours before showtime. Graves appeared to be traveling out of Orlando, and while nothing was confirmed by then, people in WWE did not expect him to be there. At that point, there was still rampant speculation, as some sources still could not confirm Graves' status. All signs pointed to the rumors being true, as there were only 2 chairs at the NXT commentary desk, as of 3:45 p.m. ET, and Graves was not at rehearsals. Furthermore, he lives in Steel City, not in the Orlando area, like many in WWE. The speculation was later confirmed. Word from within WWE over the last week was that Graves is not happy over the latest commentary shakeup, and that was seemingly confirmed this week when he publicly expressed frustration. Fightful Select added that they were unable to confirm if the Graves situation was a work or a shoot, but people close to the Pittsburgh native claimed this was legitimate. Multiple sources continue to report that Graves is legitimately frustrated over the return to NXT. WWE was purportedly set to move forward indefinitely with the 3-man booth on NXT. A higher-up source said they would be shocked if Graves wasn't back calling main roster action by the spring. The 40-year-old has received immense internal praise in recent years, especially for being so flexible with his schedule and role. The aforementioned WWE higher-up source also pointed to how Graves and Cole are the only constants when it comes to these commentary shakeups that are always happening. Numerous sources in the NXT locker room and production division were surprised to see Graves show up to work NXT New Year's Eve last week. Many in WWE did not know Graves would be working the show before then, and did not know of his return to the brand. One backstage source thought Graves was booked for New Year's Eve because he was already in town for Raw, not a brand switch. Graves signed a new multi-year contract with WWE in January 2024. He still has at least a few years left on the deal. Triple H hired the veteran star as a full-time commentator in 2014 after multiple concussions forced him to retire. After rumors on a potential in-ring return over the years, the veteran star stated in December 2023 that he was medically cleared to wrestle. Penta's injury update from Raw. Penta has arrived in WWE. After months of rumors and speculation, the former AEW star made it to the biggest wrestling promotion in the world on Monday, and the buzz is continuing. Backstage sources just revealed new Penta details, along with an injury update and various internal reactions to the newest roster member. Zero Fear debuted with a strong 13-minute win over Chad Gable on Monday's Raw. In his post-match promo, He declared this to be the Penta era of World Wrestling Entertainment, not just the Netflix era. Fans expected one half of the Lucha Brothers to debut this week, but the buzz exploded hours before Raw as WWE Shop released Penta's first merchandise, confusing many people who viewed this as an accidental reveal. Penta's in-ring performance was praised by the WWE Universe, but there was also some concern that the 39-year-old may have suffered an injury mid-match. However, PW Insider reports that sources confirmed Penta is not injured and was just selling his leg really well. Main roster officials were said to be happy with how Penta's debut came off. They are also pleased with the live reactions he received. The debut seems to be a massive success, and Penta is now an official member of the Raw roster. Pentagon's first merchandise offerings were a big hit with fans, and word from backstage is that officials were happy with his early numbers from the first day of sales. Fans have praised the company for releasing its wildly popular $74.99 Penta mask, with many wondering why AEW never did the same. Penta debuted for World Wrestling Entertainment on Monday's Raw after more than 20 years in the industry. Rey Fenix is expected to reunite with his real-life brother later this year when his AEW deal expires. Triple H took to X after Raw to officially welcome Pentagon. The chief content officer included one of his signature backstage photos. New era. Zero fear. Welcome Penta El Zeram to WWE. Triple H wrote Penta has received numerous public well wishes from wrestlers around the industry. His AEW partners also weighed in as Fenix issued a big message, while Alex Abrahantes needed just a few words to get his point across. Charlotte Flair spotted backstage at a WWE show. Charlotte Flair was present backstage at a recent WWE show, which will surely lead to chatter about her potentially returning to the promotion after over a year. The Queen attended this week's NXT as per her recent social media activity. Flair hasn't competed in WWE since December 2023, after she suffered a torn ACL in her match against Asuka during their match on Smackdown. This unforeseen injury put her on the shelf, so much so she hasn't wrestled in 14 months. Though there were rumors in between that Charlotte Flair was gearing up for a return, things didn't pan out as predicted. Amid this, Flair has fueled chatter of her return with a recent social media post. A couple of hours back, the Queen took to her X account to post a backstage picture from this week's NXT, where she was clicked with the up-and-coming stars Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. "Some girls want to be a princess when they grow up. I wanted to be in a bad B-girl gang," tweeted Flair. A few days back on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw, Vince Russo predicted who could face Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41. Russo explained that since a stage like Mania would warrant a high-profile opponent, either Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch could return to challenge Ripley. "I would have to think it's gotta be Charlotte or Becky because those are the only two that are gonna mean anything. Bianca Belair, maybe? But she's doing the thing with Naomi now. I would think that Charlotte and Becky are the only two that make sense," he said. Brock Lesnar returns at Royal Rumble. WWE superstars have started declaring themselves for the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, and the battlefield seems stacked already. With numerous top names confirmed for the showdown, WWE analyst Sam Roberts feels that the match could turn out to be the most loaded one in the history of the company. Roman Reigns, John Cena, and CM Punk were the first three names to confirm their entry in the upcoming Men's Royal Rumble match. Further, during the latest edition of WWE Raw, Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins also declared their names for the career-altering match. During a recent edition of the Not Sam Wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts addressed the names confirmed so far for the Royal Rumble match and felt that with some top names declared, the match could turn out to be the most loaded Rumble match in history. With the possibility of numerous legends and stars surprising fans with their entrance, the anticipation seems to be at an all-time high. The analyst also mentioned the possibility of Brock Lesnar returning and entering the mega match, which could turn out to be insane. John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, all in the Royal Rumble this year. And with 3 people announced for the 2025 Royal Rumble, we've already got to start having the conversation. Is this going to be the most loaded Royal Rumble match in the history of this thing? Right? Because just look at what's on the roster. Aside from those 3, who else could you have? Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso at this point, right? I doubt Gunther will be in there. Logan Paul? What if Brock Lesnar returns? I mean, it is insane, stated Sam Roberts. Apart from the ever-entertaining Royal Rumble matches, WWE has already confirmed a massive ladder match for the premium live event. The headline-making story between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens has come a long way in the past few months. After Owens delivered a package piledriver to Rhodes on Saturday night's main event, both men are set to lock horns in a ladder match with the undisputed WWE Championship and the Winged Eagle title hanging above the ring. With a lot of spotlight on this feud on the Blue brand, time will tell what the Stamford-based company has in store for both men next. Solo Sikoa returns with new allies. Solo Sikoa is slated to return to WWE Smackdown this week. However, the Street Champion might not return alone. Solo might bring along with him his father and WWE legend Rikishi. The Hall of Famer hasn't been seen in the Stamford-based promotion for the past 4 years. The last time Rikishi was seen on WWE TV was in 2020 at the Survivor Series Premium Live event during The Undertaker's retirement ceremony. However, Rikishi's return now could be for a special purpose. Now that Solo has lost the prestigious Ula Fala, Rikishi may come out and announce himself as the Wiseman of Bloodline 2.0. This may happen on Friday Night SmackDown this week, as Rikishi might praise his son for his efforts against Roman Reigns. There was some speculation among some fans that Rikishi would help Solo retain the Ula Fala in the Tribal Combo bout. It was anticipated that Rikishi may show up on Raw's debut episode on Netflix as Solo clashed against the OTC. The Hall of Famer had recently been very vocal in his support for his son, Solo, and had even remarked that he could be the next WWE champion. The 59-year-old WWE legend might bring along either Tama Tonga's younger brother, Hikuleo, or another Anoa'i family member, Lance Anoa'i, as a replacement for Tonga Loa in Bloodline 2.0, who is currently out of action due to injury. The two have long been speculated to make their WWE debuts for some time. In fact, the chances of Hikuleo coming in Bloodline 2.0 are high because he has already played a heel character outside WWE. After reportedly signing him in July last year, the promotion had even trademarked the name Tala Tonga, which is rumored to be the WWE name for Hikuleo in the Bloodline 2.0 faction. As for Lance Anoa'i, it has been reported that Lance has already signed a deal with the Stamford-based promotion, but his debut might not happen soon as he is supposedly out due to injury. Even though Solo lost the Ula Fala in the Tribal Combat match to Roman Reigns on Raw last week, the Street Champ may challenge Roman Reigns for a rematch. Solo may attack Roman Reigns on the January 27th edition of Raw during Reigns' acknowledgement ceremony. The Tribal Chief might get injured and even be ruled out of the Royal Rumble match. Later, Solo may challenge Reigns for a rematch for the Ula Fala at WrestleMania 41. Reigns may accept the challenge on the condition that if Solo loses, he disbands Bloodline 2.0. It now remains to be seen how the Bloodline storyline twists and turns over the next few days. Paul Heyman chooses CM Punk over Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns currently has his sights set on recapturing the undisputed WWE Championship after retrieving the Ula Fala. Hall of Famer Bully Ray claimed another superstar could stand in the way of the OTC achieving his goal. Last week, Roman defeated Solo Sikoa to restore himself as the Tribal Chief. On Friday, the OTC's Wiseman confronted the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes to inform him that Reigns intends to enter and win the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match and challenge him at WrestleMania 41. Speaking on the Busted Open podcast, Bully Ray claimed CM Punk could have another say about that. The wrestling legend proposed a scenario in which the best in the world loses the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. Meanwhile, Reigns wins the Rumble. As the 46-year-old Raw star dreams of main eventing the show of shows, he would then cash in on the favor Heyman owes him for tagging with the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series, Wargamed. Bully Ray claimed Punk could ask the Wiseman to convince Reigns to give up his WrestleMania spot to him. Could you imagine if Roman wins the Rumble and Roman is going to do exactly what he said and face Cody and Punk goes to Paul and says, "I need you to talk Roman Reigns out of his match and give it to me." Holy shit. You want to talk about intriguing. Paul Heyman caught in between Roman Reigns and CM Punk right before WrestleMania. Roman wins the match. Could you imagine the look on Paul? Bully Ray said. The 53-year-old revealed that he could imagine Heyman's reaction to Punk's request. "I know the look on Paul's face. I know what look Paul would use. Like the, 'come on, what are you doing to me over here?' Like when Punk says this is my favor, and you kind of play it up like it's the Godfather asking for his favor back in return," he said. On the same episode of the Busted Open podcast, Bully Ray addressed CM Punk's chances of winning the Men's Royal Rumble match and challenging Cody Rhodes at WWE WrestleMania. The wrestling legend claimed people would want to tune in to watch if the best in the world could beat the American Nightmare and have his WrestleMania moment. Absolutely. Just as much as they will be tuned in to see if John Cena can win 17, they will be tuned in to see if CM Punk, who is beyond the fan favorite right now, can defeat Cody and have his WrestleMania moment, he said. Several top WWE superstars, including Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre, have also declared for the Royal Rumble. It would be interesting to see who will emerge victorious.